Hello and welcome to another Primaris Space Marine video. This time we're going to be looking at the lieutenants. So this is going to be my review of the Primaris Lieutenants. What are lieutenants? Where did they come from? And how do I get one? Well, they come in the box set of the Dark Imperium, and they've got a range of sort of weapons and war gear and things like that. One thing I will say is they're putting Space Marines, sort of normal size Space Marines. They're putting normal size Space Marines on these whopping Terminator bases now. I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong, but that is surely a Terminator base. So they started off with your standard sort of 25mm base, then they moved on to the 32mm, and now they're on these 40mm bases. So quite an upgrade, I think you'll agree. So I'll just look at each one of the models, and then I'll talk about the rules and things like that. So here we've got one Primaris Lieutenant, which is armed with your, bolt pistol there. It's a nice looking bolt pistol actually. It's like a normal bolt pistol, but it's almost like a bolt gun, if anything. Let me just compare it. Couldn't find the Mini Marine then. He's so small I can't locate them now. So yeah, almost like a bolt gun, but no, it's not the same size as a bolt gun. Space Marines aren't carrying bolt guns as bolt pistols anymore at the moment, just yet anyway. So yeah, you've got this guy, really cool pose, this wonderful power sword. It's not as big as the captain with the power sword, which his power sword is actually bigger than a Space Marine. We'll talk about him in the next video. Anyway, so yeah, nice looking pose. He's got this thingy, which I never understand what it is, whether it's just a collection of skulls or whether it's some tiny little servitors that just, float out and then give him a battlefield view. That would be pretty cool. He's got the holster, missing the bolt pistol. Good continuity, I like that. Good attention to detail. It's even got like the hole where it would go in. Although he has buttoned it up, so he might have taken it out a little while ago. Anyway, he's got some pouches, and he's got his little emergency ration of food paste, I think it is. So yeah, quite a decent looking model, decent pose. He's got the skull on his helmet. He's got the right twist to the torso. He's got this eagle with a skull. He's got purity seal. Very good sort of poster boy lieutenant. Excellent. Then we get to this guy, which I wanted to include him for the purposes of this video because he's pretty much classified as an ancient. So I thought I'd include him anyway. I'm sure he won't get too offended. And his stats, to be fair, slightly worse than the lieutenants, but just whisper that. So this is the ancient. He's got his bolt rifle with the scope. He's got this wonderful banner, absolutely incredible. Even better is it doesn't have a single U or anything like that on it. So you can paint this exactly how you would like to in your own chapter. You can make up a chapter. Remember when that was a thing? Everybody seems to be jumping on board. They ask you what army you collect. Oh, Space Marines. Okay. What chapter do you collect, or what legion do you collect? Make up your own one, guys. You don't have to follow everybody else and get Ultramarines or Blood Angels or Dark Angels or any other sort of legion as well. You could just create your own. That's the whole point of the hobby. It gives you that creative freedom. Anyway, yeah. So moving back to the model, he's looking down. He's holding his flag. He's feeling proud. So that's the ancient, and then we've got another lieutenant. You get the two lieutenants in the ancient. This guy has got this awesome bolt rifle that's actually got a drum magazine. And I think that's reflected in the rules, in his rule as well. It's got something attached there. Oh, okay then. Again, nice attention to detail. He's got his helmet attached to his utility belt. He's also got one skull this time, but he's got his little padlock. So I think that's got his diary in. Woke up at 5 o'clock after 3 minutes of sleep and ready to start the day. Started training. 7 o'clock, did some more training. 8 o'clock, did some prayers. 9 o'clock, did some more training. You know, that sort of thing in his diary. So he's got his bolt pistol, again, this little chubby version of a bolt gun. And yeah, quite a good pose. Great detail to the face. You've got a scar there, you've even got some pronunciation with the wrinkles in his forehead, and then he's got the sort of obligatory sort of mohawk kind of hair. So yeah, great looking model too. Now let's talk about the rules. Let's talk about the lieutenants first of all. So these two guys here, they've got same movement as everyone else, movement 6, but this is where they shine. They've got weapon skill of 2 plus, ballistic skill 3 plus, everything else is the same, but they've got 5 wounds. What gives them 5 wounds compared to little mini Primaris Marine that's only got 2? Somewhere they've got the 3 extra wounds. Now it might be because of this little skull thing, or it might be because of their bigger base. I think it's the latter. They've also got 4 attacks, so they get another 2 attacks from somewhere. Instead of the auto bolt rifle, which this guy looks like he's carrying, you can equip one with a power sword, which Games Workshop have conveniently supplied for you. Now the auto bolt rifle, it loses its 30-inch range, it's got 24-inch range, the same as a bolt gun. However, it's assault 2, strength 4, damage 1. So it's an assault version of the bolt gun really, but with 2 shots. Now the power sword is pretty much what we're used to, got minus 3 AP and damage 1. So it's nice that they sort of give you both of these. And it goes on to describing the abilities that during deployment, all lieutenants in the unit must be set up at the same time. However, once the battle's begun, they operate independently and they're treated as a separate unit for all rules purposes. So you set them up at the same time. I don't think you set them up together, but you just set them up at the same time. It sort of like count as one unit. And it specifically says that lieutenants, you can have 1 to 2. So you don't need to take 2. You can just, take 1 if you really wished. Points wise, they're 60 points each. Doesn't include the weapons. So you're going to have to buy your power sword at 4 points, but your auto bolt rifle is free. Another interesting point is that they've also got this tactical precision. So you can re-roll wound rolls of 1 for friendly units that are within 6 inches of the model. So to re-roll wounds, not shooting, it can be shooting or melee, I would have thought, because it's just re-roll wound rolls of 1. So it's worth keeping them close too. Okay, now we've talked about the lieutenants. Let's just talk about the Ancient. This guy centre stage. Same stat line, but again, weapon skill is 3 plus instead of the 2 plus. He's equipped with his bolt rifle, pistol, grenades, but he also gets this Adeptus Astartes banner. Now this banner, any unit within 6 inches of him gain +1 to their leadership. So 6 inches, that's great. And also roll a dice each time an infantry model is destroyed within 6 inches of any friendly Ancient before moving the model as a casualty. 4 plus musters 1 last surge of strength before succumbing to the wound, and when it does that, then the model can either shoot with one of its weapons as if it were in the shooting phase, or make a single attack as if it was in the fight phase. So that's pretty cool that you get an extra. So before removing it as a casualty, so it's going to die anyway, you one last little bit of strength. You've got to keep him within 6 inches of models. Now it doesn't say that it's one model. It says units, and what it says is it's quite specific. It says roll a dice each time a infantry model. That could be a lieutenant. It could be a captain. It could be all of them. They're all infantry. So it could be any one of those Primaris Space Marines. You can have that, and he will set you back 63 points. So he's actually more expensive than the 2 lieutenants. But that banner is pretty useful, and I must also say that he's got 5 wounds himself. So just there, guys, you're looking at 15 wounds, which is just remarkable for 3 models. This is it. You increase the model's base size, and they get lots more wounds. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about the Primaris Lieutenants and the Ancient. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.